It seems like I often don't really know how to cook for my small family of three and a half, but sometimes that turns out for the best because tonight I made way too much roast. I went a little crazy with the roast, so I got to take some of that food to a nearby friend who had just had a baby a couple weeks ago. And when we walked back in the door, I knew I needed to do a big reset of the kitchen and probably the living room as well because I had really let it go while I was prepping dinner and adding a few extra little things for the family. I love making meals for women who just had babies. I think it stems from my own desire to create a village of women who look out for each other and really care for one another in the times of life that can be a little bit isolating. Cooking for another family can feel a little bit overwhelming because you always are a bit afraid they're not going to like what you make. But quite honestly, you'll never know if they liked it or not because you're not there when they eat it. So, because of this, I would absolutely recommend just doubling whatever you're going to make one night and dropping it off to someone who could really use a little bit of support. This did turn into a bit of a if you give a mouse a cookie situation. Because I already had the roast, I decided I would go ahead and make a bigger batch of mashed potatoes to put with it. And then, of course, you can't send them without a batch of cookies. And perhaps they needed rolls as well. So it ended up being a little bit more to clean up, but definitely worth it. Especially when I got to go in and see the cute new little baby. Although this dish was decided on a bit last minute, I truly just figured out that I had too much and was able to double the rest of the stuff I was making to make sure that I was really making enough for their family. I am glad because it really followed the normal pattern of meals that I like to make for new moms, in that it had a protein heavy main course and then there were sides that were complimentary and full of carbs to help them stay well equipped through the day and night as they care for their little baby. I made a French onion roast, which was actually incredibly good. I was a bit skeptical and made it kind of on a whim, but it turned out really awesome and tasty and a perfect combination of flavors that I perhaps wouldn't have normally done. And we have quite a bit of roast because we get a half beef, so it was nice to have another way to use them that isn't just a normal pot roast that you simmer all day and kind of always tastes pretty similar. When I started this cleanup, I kind of assumed that it would take me perhaps 30 minutes to get everything done, but I started getting really into it, which is kind of a nice place to be because you can just kind of power through a lot more. So I was able to get the kitchen completely clean and then move on to the living room and the kitchen table, which has been overrun with my sewing stuff for several weeks. My husband has been begging me to do something about it just to make it a little bit more manageable where we can use the table for a meal instead of eating all of our meals at the island. So having a free night to get that done was really nice. There's simply nothing like that final wipe down of the kitchen to make you feel like you've really completed the task, where everything is clean, all of the kids' grime is gone, and you just have a perfectly shiny space and can really just enjoy it when you walk into the kitchen in the morning. If you have children, you know how important it is that the elf on the shelf is in its new location the next day. It was so fun that our elf on the shelf jolly showed up on the garland above our island and was upside down. My son thought that was so funny. In some ways, being able to take a meal to a friend turned out to be a little gift for myself as well, because it really got the fire under me to go ahead and really do a deeper clean of all of the areas of our house. When I'm feeling on top of it, sometimes I will set something up for my son to do in the morning when he wakes up. I set out some markers and some paper and a new pair of fun scissors. And the first thing he said this morning when he came down was, "Mom, are these scissors for me?" Which is just always so sweet. This little table ends up being our drop zone for a lot of things. I would love some ideas on how to keep drop zone areas like this from happening. Is the answer just to have a basket that you are constantly putting things in and moving around the house? I can't really figure out a great system for that. I took on a pretty ambitious Christmas project and decided to make Christmas pajamas for me and my kids and my husband. I am about halfway done and am realizing that my time is quickly running out before Christmas Eve, so I need to really get a move on with those if they're going to all be done by that time.
That's. Oh yeah, you made me a bucket list the other day.
Yeah, I added to it. What I realized is that I've had all of this stuff out because I have been working on it, but I don't actually have to keep all of it out. Now, we have half a table back.
Yeah, man.
See?
Thanks for hanging out with me while I cleaned up. If you like cozy, realistic, clean with me videos and mom life at home, I'd love for you to subscribe and stick around. Tell me in the comments, what do you bring to a friend's house when they have new babies?